Close that.
Shalom, shalom. Oh, you want to close the blinds? I like that natural light in the
Shalom,
back.
family, shalom.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's decent. This lighting is like crazy though. Okay, maybe it's better. I don't know. I'm trying. Maybe we should close this. Oh, oh no. Oh well. Oh well.
Getting it together, guys.
Welcome to the channel. Shalom, shalom.
Yes, welcome, guys. If you don't know, we are journeying with us, family of 7, digital nomads. Been here in Africa, traveling around Africa, or East Southern Africa for the past Southeastern, Eastern Southern, for the past what 4 years, going on 5. So all praises to the Most High for allowing us to be obedient, um, allowing us to just be safe with our travels. And yeah, it's just been amazing. It's just been an amazing journey. So if you love our journey, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, share the video, and we greatly appreciate everybody for the support. So make sure you like the video. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about some things to help people, because that's what we do. We really try to give the information to you guys to help you guys live in Africa long term,
Right.
because we believe this is a safe place, especially for our people. You got to think about the story of Yahusha when he had to go hide. He was amongst his people that looked like him. He didn't hide amongst people that didn't look like him. So we really got to start thinking like that too, guys. So yes, welcome.
Yes, welcome to the channel, y'all. We have 5 things we're going to tell you today about how Americans are surviving and thriving outside of America long term. And what sparked this topic was somebody actually left a comment and they were like, hey, do you have to come back to America to renew your passports? And we responded back and we were like, no, you don't, because they have US embassies in nearly every country of the world. And so if
Hmm.
your passport is about to expire, you just go to the US embassy, you give them your old passport, and then they give you the new one within. It's actually quicker to get your passport abroad, get it renewed,
Can you
than it
believe
is in
that?
America.
Can you believe that? It
Yeah,
took
it's
us what?
quicker. 2 weeks.
They said 2 weeks, but it came a little bit faster.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
A week and a half.
we had to wait because we had another appointment.
Yeah.
It's like we might as well just wait to that appointment and just pick it up all together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can receive birth certificates abroad and go to the US Embassy. They have all these different things in place to where you literally do not have to be in America. And y'all know we talk about on this channel how if you're an American,
Hmm.
the best way to have your American dream is outside of America. Okay. And this is becoming more evident because it's so interesting the last few days. Biden just announced a new policy yesterday. He said that 500,000 undocumented people that are coming into America are going to get citizenship, and he's going to protect them from deportation because there's one side of the country that has been wanting to deport them, i.e., Trump. Because Trump, on the other hand, he was saying when he gets in office, they're all going to leave. So it's
Wow.
like two opposites.
Yeah, think about that, guys. Really, I think us as Black people are still residents. They say that we're citizens, but we're still 3/5.
They say we're 3/5 human. They
Yeah.
say we're not even human.
So do some research about that, because if the president now saying like, yeah, we're gonna hurry up and give them citizenships, and they never did nothing like that for us. That should tell you something. That should really tell you something. Oh yeah, Mike is dead.
My mic is dead. My mic is dead every day. You know, I talk loud though, so you can keep this one and just keep it in the middle.
No,
My
no.
mic is dead every day. Every time now. It's dead. But yeah, y'all, because this is just getting crazy. I know y'all been watching the different people talking about the military draft. They also, they're saying that women are going to be included in that. I actually saw a super interesting video. You can actually type it into YouTube. By the way, that Biden announcement came from NBC News, but the YouTube channel that I saw was an ex CIA agent he posted this video a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. and he was saying that there is going to be World War III. It's actually already started, which is what we've been saying. When you look at the world, it's like it's already World War III. And he's talking about how there are 144 different conflicts on earth. Like, it's not just the Middle East, it's not just Ukraine. There are 144 different conflicts. A lot of them are in South America, Colombia. A lot of them are also in other areas of the Middle East. And so we have a lot of different things going on. So this is why it's pivotal and critical right now for you to take these 5 tips that we're going to give you and to see how Americans are living abroad long term, because we're not the only ones. There are families, there's people who come single and then they end up getting married, which is one route people take, or they take the digital nomad route, or they take the hey, I'm gonna go get a job route, which isn't like a super populist route, but it is a route. Yeah, people volunteer at nonprofits and non-governmental organizations, as they call them here in Africa. Yeah. People become students of like universities. There's so many options. Retirement, that's like the best option. They have amazing retirement visas in Africa. That's probably one of the most powerful visas for Africa. Some of the retirement visas they have in Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Ghana, and nations like that. And I'm sure they have them in Namibia and other countries as well. Yes. What do you think about those? I think those retirement visas could work for a lot of people because
Yeah,
there are a
especially
lot of middle-aged people.
yeah, especially if you're of that age. Um, that's perfect. But for us, we're still young, so it's better for us to try to like invest in countries, um, or be a student. So for I guess it just depends on the age of people. If you're younger, you might want to look at volunteering, student, or investing, starting a business. If you're older, you can do the same thing, but probably retirement. So yeah, they're trying to work stuff out, and make sure you just look at countries that is I guess connected with America, I should say.
That has a relationship.
Yeah,
Well,
that
yeah,
has a
I'll say
relationship, but
that has
it's like
visa-free, because all most countries have some kind of a relationship with America. So look for the specific ones that are visa free for Americans, because that's going to give you a lot of favor when you're coming out. You're new to traveling. You're like, okay, what do I do? How do I maneuver? It's going to be easier for you if you go that route. And then there's a lot of people who do not want to learn a new language. When we left America in 2020, we went to Tanzania, and Tanzania, the national language is Swahili. So that plays a big part in the move, which is even further why you want to already have an online business, have some kind of side hustle established, because starting a business and then adding on top of starting the business, starting it in a new country is difficult. Quite frankly, it's difficult. So you have to have some income coming in some way. You never want to just rely on savings. On top of that, even if you want to like invest in a property, do not throw 100% of your income at the property. Do not throw 100% of your money at the property. Throw like 40 to 50%, 60% at most, because that's just something wise that you can do so that you always have leverage. You always have something for yourself. It's not wise to just throw all of your money and you just got to this country, you only been there a year or two, you really don't know how things operate, you barely speak the language, or if they speak English you still don't know how the economics are. And so it's wiser to just go little by little. There's actually a proverb in the Bible that says, he who gathers wealth little by little comes to great wealth, but he who gathers wealth wickedly will come to naught. So that's just a piece of wisdom right there.
yeah, you definitely got to be wise, guys. Um, like I, I know we saw a couple questions here. Yeah, shalom, family. Welcome, guys.
Oh, that's awesome. 64 single retired in Zambia. That's awesome. I hear Zambia is awesome. That's cool. That's really good. See, y'all, there's people in the comments
Yeah,
telling y'all that they've already left. They already got their retirement visas. They're living their best life. Zambia is another great country. We've been to Zambia, not Lusaka. We been to like the smaller towns, but Zambia is a big, beautiful country, very vast in the South Africa region. By the way, if you're taking the digital nomad approach, you should know that as a rule of thumb, as a digital nomad, when you have to do like visa runs, If that's something that you're doing on like a tourist visa, then they want you to leave that region. So if you're in West Africa, you should go to South Africa. If you're in East Africa, you should go to Southern Africa. If you're in Southern Africa, you should go to Eastern Africa. It works the same way in Asia as well, and Europe, where if you're moving around, trying to be a digital nomad, but you have to do a visa run before you process your long term permits, then you have to leave that region for it to count and not have trouble at these different borders. These are the intricacies that you need to know about traveling.
That's a good point. Somebody, real quick, then we can get started.
What's the best way to determine which one of your courses would be the right fit for me? Is that something that can be discussed in a consultation? Yes, Sonia, tell me what your goal is in the next year, and then I can direct you.
Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Make sure you like the video, and we get. Are we gonna do the article first or the list?
I did the article.
You did. Oh, I was gone, huh? I'm lost. Okay. All right, guys. So before we get in this list,
Yeah, the list.
let us know where you guys tuning in from.
Advice for Social Security recipients. Social Security recipients, you're in the best route. You have the most ease of access. Contrary, a lot of you guys comment, you're like, no, I'm on Social Security. Y'all don't understand that it's easier for you than most people because you have that passive income coming in that you show to these governments like Kenya for the K2 visa. People have gotten these visas in Tanzania, Zambia, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Ghana, Nigeria. They have retirement visas in pretty much every single country, especially in Africa. And the retirement visas are nice. And just by African culture, the way that they respect and reverence elders is going to totally shock you. And so if you come with everything you need to get your retirement visa, you're going to have a smooth, easy flowing process. It's going to be simple and it's going to be an enjoyable life where you're sitting looking at the sunset and looking at a mountain view, drinking some coconut water, living your best life stress free without worrying about, gunshots through the window, what Biden and Trump are doing, worrying
Right.
about the taxes, worrying about all this
Working about
craziness.
the air pollution, the smoke and stuff in the clouds, the whole cloud or the sky turning red instead of blue.
Yeah,
Uh, it's a lot that's going on over there.
it's too
We're
much.
not gonna try to get too much into it, but
It's too
um,
much.
yeah, let's get into this list. But before we get into the list, I want to say something because it's not on a list, but it's very important. Um, it's really like the first thing. You really got to be determined if you really want to stay out of America. You really have to be dedicated. You got to make your mind up at that point and say, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm staying out. And you got to have that attitude. You got to have that spirit about staying out. Like really.
Right. Yeah. Ooh,
So
that's a good one. We
yeah,
we need to elaborate on that because that's foundational to everything. If you're one of those willy-nilly lukewarm 50% in, 50% out people, you're going to reap the reward of being 50%, 50%. Your outcome's going to be halfway there, which means you don't know where you're about to be. You don't know if you're going to make it long term. You don't know if you're going to go back to America. You don't know if you're going to establish a successful business. You don't know if you're going to actually retire. You don't know if you are one of those, what do you call it?
iffy, I guess.
Iffy people, yeah, where you can't make an executive decision and stick it through. You need to meditate soon because
Yeah,
you're probably already reaping the rewards of that in America for sure. If you can't stick with the thing and see it through, you're going to struggle. And you're probably already struggling, if not financially, then with your own peace within you and with maybe your relationships, whatever it is. Because when you do something, you have to do it to your full extent. Do it 100%.
100%.
Don't do it just 23% of the way, then 59% one day, and then the next day you just start complaining and losing your mind. Don't do that. You do that in these countries, people are gonna look at you like you're insane. Because most people, when you come out of America, Americans are the main people who are like this, by the way. It's just like the convenience and the culture of Western society to be filled with like complaints and stuff. But when you come out of America and you see these other people, they don't act like that. If they're going to do something, they're going to see it through and they're going to do it and it's going to get done. Even if the tools break when they're doing it, they're going to fix the tools and figure out a way to get it done. If they say they're going to travel somewhere, they're going to travel. Remember when we were in Tanzania and we didn't realize how people like would travel across the country,
Mm.
like they would just get up on the bus, go, then they would come back. Like they would just travel like it was a way of life.
Yeah, cause
No fear.
yeah, that's what it is. They got their book bag, they go. We think traveling, man, we gotta have suitcases. But yeah,
Us as Americans, we think too, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it.
we think like Americans.
Yeah, that's the only way you can say it. Like, because seeing how people move, and I mean, these buses will go through mountains, they'll go through valleys, they'll go through safaris, they'll go through all kinds of stuff. And the people, they just roll with it. They're not losing their minds if, whatever little thing happens.
Hmm.
But in America, people will lose their minds over the smallest things. But let's get into the actual list of the 5 things y'all need to know how to survive and thrive abroad long term. Okay. Number one, your passport is leverage. Get your US passport, understand the leverage that you have on a US passport. When we
Cause
left,
you
we
have it
were,
now, you got the leverage now, but pretty soon it's not gonna be like that.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
if you don't have your passport, please get your passport. Like right now, please.
Yeah, just pause the video and
Just
just go to
pause.
the post office
Just do
and
it.
go. But yeah, you have leverage with the US passport that allows you to get certain places visa free, allows you to get certain digital nomad visas, allows you to get certain bank accounts abroad, offshore bank accounts, okay? But usually you have to be in these countries to get it. But understand all the benefits you have with the US passport. Again, the US passport is best utilized outside of America. Walking in America, there's nowhere you can go to get some kind of benefits, from your path. Like you're not going to walk into Chase Bank and they're going to be like, yes, you're a passport holder, because everybody's a passport holder. So go to Africa, go to Asia, go travel and get those benefits, okay? Because they got some benefits out here. Number two, the cost of living. People are living abroad because of the cost of living. That's how they're making it long term.
Yeah, that's very. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, that's one of the main things. Like the cost of living. I just saw a video. It's a lot of people leaving because of the cost of living. Like you can get a 1 bedroom apartment in America for like almost. It's pretty much $2,000 now, and
Despicable.
we got a whole full furnished house, not even that,
Yeah,
not
four
even close to
beds.
that.
It's not even $2,000, and a pool,
Yeah,
and a security system,
yeah. So
and
it's like
Wi-Fi included.
the cost of living is a good thing. Uh, it's one of the main things.
Yeah, it's absolutely the main thing. Pastor Ross, thank you so much for the
Yes,
super
thank you,
chat. We
Sante
appreciate
Sana.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, the cost of living is a major thing, um, because most of the time people in America they work to give more than half of their income to uh, lay their head somewhere, to pay rent somewhere. That's more than half their income.
Yeah, which is all due to the inflation in the economy. And it's crazy because now certain institutions, they're flat out coming out and saying, relative from the GDP, relative to how much debt we have more debt than we actually have gross domestic product, which is how much all of the American businesses and all of the institution of America makes in a year or in a span of a few years. And they're coming out now and they're saying, actually, we're in more debt than we even make money, which is
That's crazy.
why
Yeah.
you have so renters blame landlords, not realizing the landlords got to pay the banks, because the banks got, most landlords in America actually don't own the houses unless they're rich. The average landlord is also paying a mortgage.
Mhm.
So they're now at the hands of the lender. And so then the lender is at the hands of whoever's above the banks, the whoever's up at the top. And so they all got somebody else to pay. Every single person has
Mhm.
somebody else to pay. And when all those people have somebody else to pay, something's gonna crack. And it's
Yeah.
already cracking.
Yes, like you said, slippery slope. Then the banks is loving it because if you already signed a deal 5, 10 years ago, you bought your house and you can't afford it,
Ooh.
or something happened like a tornado come bust a tree down and hit your house and you can't afford to replace it. They loving it. They like, man, well you can't afford it, we're gonna take it back. So man, the cost of living, just the cost of peace,
The
I guess.
cost of
The
life,
cost of
gosh,
life
it's
is just better.
expensive.
it's just way better outside of America, especially if you know how to move around.
Yeah, because with the cost of living comes the cost of life. Like when you are tying yourself to a mortgage for 30 years, they advertise it in a way that's like, oh, you can just pay on it for 30 years. It's okay. Don't pay all at once. But it's like, hold up. I don't got no freedom. I'm stuck to this for 30 years. You mean to tell me I can't move? I got to stay in this place? You mean to tell me I got to keep paying this for the next 30 years? And then you get yourself in those contracts thinking that, oh, I'm getting a leg up because I'm getting this house in this nice neighborhood, not realizing you are basically signing a death certificate saying, till death do I part with this house. When you could be traveling, you could be living your best life, you could be investing in other areas, you could be experiencing the world, you could be leaving your 9 to 5. But when you have that much debt, that's like 200, 300, 400, 900K, a million, whatever amount of dollars, you have all of that debt from the mortgage, all of the debt from the car, all of the debt from your credit cards. You don't even have time to properly think. You can't even think straight because you got this debt tied to you. So now you're at your 9 to 5 asking them, hey, can I pick up, 15 more hours a week? Right? That's a lot to deal with versus if you just let some of this stuff go. And that's where the idea of minimalism comes in. Like you don't have to own every single thing all the time. There's a time and place for everything. Maybe for you, it's a time right now of working and saving to invest and then own a property, but maybe you decide you don't want to live in the property all the time. Or maybe you don't want to live in that property till it's paid off so that you can just have a slower lifestyle.
Hmm.
Having an alternative lifestyle is critical to humanity's salvation. Like people are literally dying across America, Canada, Europe, Japan, China. Populations are decreasing. Why? It has to be because of the lifestyle of Western countries. That's the main difference between Western countries and Eastern countries. The lifestyle. Something's wrong with the lifestyle where people can't even repopulate just in the last 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the main things, just to have peace in your life. Really, the cost of living.
Yeah, because it's directly tied to your stress. If you're always worried about finances, you can't get any type of breathing room, then that stress is going to eventually take you out. And you can tell that by the blood pressure rates in America, by the stroke rates, by the people who have cancer. These are all things. This isn't like fear mongering. This is reality mongering where you can actually look up this data and statistics, look and see, wow, people don't seem like they're healthy and joyful versus you come to a continent like Africa. Africa has some of the happiest countries on the planet Earth. Look it up. Tanzania was actually rated the happiest country in Africa last year, I believe.
Mhm.
And so it pays for your own sanity and peace to be in a country that has a better culture of modesty and freedom and not all of this capitalism, racism, unhealthy stuff, violence, all this craziness.
Yeah, I guess that's the best investment is to invest in yourself, like moving out of America.
It really
Like
is.
that's the best investment. Like if you don't listen to anything, listen to that. That's the best investment to move out of America.
Yeah, yeah. You'll see things more clearly. At least when you get out, you'll be able to say, hey, maybe I want to invest in this property, or hey, maybe I don't want to invest. Maybe I just want to travel, or hey, maybe I'll travel a little bit and then I'll invest in this restaurant business or whatever it is that you want to do. But until you give yourself some breathing space and just get out and explore, then, you're always going to be so fearful and thinking, oh, everywhere's like America,
It's
especially
just
with
not.
the especially with the craziness of these military drafts. Like y'all 18 to 26-year-olds, men or women, are going to be going in the wars, these little proxy wars they have. Like I was discussing earlier, that video with this ex-CIA agent. Check it out, Google ex-CIA agent on World War III or YouTube it. And he's saying, World War III is already happening. It's just these proxy wars in different areas. So they're preparing to ship your children, your little cousins. They're going to ship them out. And, that's probably part of the reason Biden's like, let's go ahead and approve this 500,000 people to receive their citizenship because they're going to be trying to ship them out as well. That's America, the best country for usury. You look,
Yeah,
usury.com. That's
really.
America.
Look, that should tell you about America, like they try to think a couple years ahead. So you got to think a
Mm,
couple years ahead too.
mm.
Like, where's America going to be in a couple years?
Whew. Just sit on that one.
Like, really think about that because these other countries where there's just say like Gaza, right? That country is literally tore up because all the missiles and bombs and stuff like that. America's about to be like that soon. Can you really imagine seeing a bomb down the street, like a whole building being blown up or something? Because that's going to be the reality, right? Like soon, pretty soon, it's going to be the reality. So you really got to think about the next couple years. It's going to be something different. So it's best to really invest in yourself, like we keep saying, and get out of that place.
Yeah, get out as fast as you can. Send your children out, your little cousins, send them out, because that military draft, they're not playing either, y'all. Automatic. They're like, look, we come into your door, time to go. Let's go, everybody go. Doesn't matter if you didn't pass the test, doesn't matter if you're not ready. We'll train you real quick. And it's so wicked because these people, and they're doing it on every side. Ukraine is doing it, Russia's doing it as well, inviting African people to their countries just so they can put them on the front lines. And it's time for black people to wake up and say, ma'am, sir, this is your war. You go out and fight it. You go deal with it. I didn't start that. I don't got no problem with them folks. You go deal with it while we go back home to Africa and live and just eat some organic foods and just breathe. Like literally, that's it. It's so simple. But when you're in a propaganda filled society like America, simple things become difficult because you're so used to difficult that you can't even bring yourself down a notch and say, wait, let me just have simplicity. But when simplicity comes, you're like, oh, this is too simple. And so now your mind is playing tricks on you. That's why you really have to renew your mind. The Bible says renew your mind daily. You actually have to renew your mind just to get out of this Western mindset because it will literally destroy everything and corrupt everything in you and your legacy.
Yeah. And it's simple, like she just said. It's very simple. Like you can't be afraid of having that simple mindset, like because that's what it is.
Yeah. There's no other way to say it. I wish they could experience it.
Yeah.
If you're in Africa and you move to Africa, leave a comment or leave something in the chat and explain the simplicity that comes with being on this side of the world. It's the same way in Asia. We have family members that spend time in Asia. It's the same thing. We have connections all over now on the eastern side of the world. Like it's the same idea. You even meet different white Americans who have been out of America for like 15, 20 years. Okay? 15, 20 years. Because everybody knows what's up. And if you don't know what's up, I don't maybe pray to get discernment because it's really not rocket science. It's not, especially when you have YouTube where you can see the cost of living in other countries and then you can come back and see the cost of living in America. That's not rocket science.
Mhm.
That's just stop lying to yourself and stop letting American society lie to you. Stop living a lie and then saying, oh, well, that's all fear mongering. No, this is truth. This is reality. Reality isn't fear mongering. Reality is just reality. Like the
Reality is
sky's blue. That's
exactly.
reality.
Reality is like you're really watching this video right now. Don't think that you're not watching it.
Right? Right.
Like for real, it
For
really
real.
gets that. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
It's really that difficult to understand too, but it's
Yeah.
very simple. You're really watching this video right now.
Yeah. Don't talk yourself out of it. You're watching it. But it's these psychological mind games that they are so good at. And so you can understand how to reverse that mindset. Start looking into the psychological warfare that has been done on the Black community, on American society in general, especially in times of war. They push a particular propaganda in times of war, okay? They do. They straight up do.
Mhm.
It's crazy to think about. But yeah, y'all. So we got US passports, cost of living. That's cost of living is like top tier. Nomad life, like we were talking about. We briefly said some people marry into certain countries, which is the way that some people receive citizenship. And then alternative living and investing, live an alternative lifestyle. Don't always think you have to live the mortgage lifestyle.
Mhm.
because the root word of mortgage is death. So why string yourself to a death lifestyle? When here in Africa, people will save and build their house, save, buy their house, and it's not a 30-year mortgage. It's not. People in Africa and Asia, if they don't have cash, if they can't do it, if they can't build it, it's not getting done. But they're not going to put themselves in debt 100%. Versus the American mindset, let me rack up all this debt because all this debt's going to make me rich. Let me get more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And then, 15 years down the line, your blood pressure is 200 over 100. You got heart palpitations. Your head aches every single day. Your heart, is throbbing and stuff. And you got all of these health issues because you were not created to be a debt cycle vessel. Like, that's not what you were created for. But we do also have a few points that you should be aware of when you move to Africa or when you move to a country that is outside of America. Always spend 40% lower than your cost of living.
Mhm.
Being in a
Yeah.
new place, learning new things, you need to have some kind of cushion so that you have something to fall back on. Spend 40% lower than your cost of living. Okay? Like, don't be all lavish and extravagant. This is actually really, really simple. If you're leveraging USD or if you're a business person, this is really simple. If you're investing in gold and silver or tech stocks or whatever it is you invest in, right? You can spend in other areas and you can afford a cheaper lifestyle, especially because food out here, like you have this street food out here and it's very affordable.
Mhm.
Restaurant food, very affordable. Versus America, you can buy a meal for two and it'd be $60.
I saw somebody. I saw a post. Was it five guys or something? It was a Father's Day post or something. The guy he went out to get like three burgers, two fries, and a drink or something. It was like $70, $72. He put his receipt and stuff. It was like I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
That's treacherous.
Yeah,
They should be ashamed.
and another thing, like a lot of people can't afford to go to uh, restaurants and stores and stuff. So a lot of stuff is going to be closing down.
Right.
Like
That's
pretty
true.
soon, there's a lot of big companies that's closing down.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah. My point is just get out, like really.
Ooh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then go to networking events to diversify. We can help you a bit as the diaspora, but the people that are really going to help you are going to be locals. Like when you need a good lawyer, when you need a good connection for business, when you need whatever it is you need, go to networking events and meet people. Go in Facebook groups with
Mhm.
locals in them where you can kind of see what's going on. You have to understand what's happening on the ground in the countries you're in. Don't just like blindfold yourself and then just sit there like, well, I'm in my own little corner. No, then you're not going to know what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta. And I suggest once you come to another country, just walk around and see what people are doing every day. You got to take care of yourself. So make sure you like walk around, get some exercise. See, oh, there's a store here. There's this pharmacy here. There's this here. There's that here. And people will start to see you, and they'll be interested. They might come talk to you, and that's how you make like the local connections too. Especially if you like humble and you want to show love to them, and just tell them, hey, like everything's good. This is what I'm doing, what you're doing, what is your skills, what is your talents. Oh, maybe we can help each other. Because that's what it comes down to, the two sticks coming back together. Like really. So when you go to another country, don't try to hide behind the wall. You gotta be out in the neighborhood. You gotta let people see you. I know it's gonna be uncomfortable, but that's the only way to grow is to be uncomfortable anyway. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one for
Make
sure.
sure you like the video too, family. We appreciate the likes.
Yeah, we have 104 people watching and 41 likes. Can we have 50 likes? 50, 50, 50. So, networking, going out to the neighborhood to meet people. Watch out for scams, aka know the lay of the land. If you are new in a country, you are a prime target for scamming. One, because you're ignorant. Two, because you don't really know what's going on. You don't know the different dynamics. You don't know housing dynamics. You don't know food dynamics. You don't know clothing dynamics. You don't know the system because Americans also think, for some strange reason, that everywhere works like America. Everywhere else is the exact opposite of America, whatever that means for the specific country you're in, okay? And so you can watch out for scams by not like jumping up to buy land, jumping up to buy property. Like when you're leaving a country to go to a new country, the first thing you should be doing is listening and learning, not jumping up to buy property, because that's like the top way to get scammed. And I know everybody's like, well, I need to hurry up. That's a very capitalist mindset to think. And I only learned this being in Africa because I started to realize the way that Africans buy land is different than the way Americans think of land. Africans live at their house, have like a little tiny plot of land, but they're not like, oh, let me buy 10 acres and I'm gonna have the greatest this and the greatest that. That's such a capitalist way of moving. And when you're moving in the spirit of capitalism, you're gonna attract scams straight up, because Africa just does not work like that. When people have land in a village, when they have land in a community, it's thought of like shared land. And so you won't see one person owning like 20 acres of land unless it's an industrial farm. But the average person that's just working and living day to day life, their land is in their front yard. Like they're not just buying like acres and acres and acres and acres and all of this stuff. That's such a capitalist way of thinking, and it gets a lot of people in trouble because it alerts the government, it alerts different people, it alerts the community. So your goal is also to be humble. But it's hard to be humble when you put yourself on Front Street and you're like, yeah, I just bought 900,000 acres. They gonna look at you like, golly, who are you? 900,000?
Yeah, even for because I know like for us, I know we wanted like man, dang, maybe we could just go out there and maybe get what maybe like 5 acres. I think that's humble enough. Nah, that's too much. Like, what you gonna do with 5 acres? Unless you really
Yeah.
about to do something with that. Like, unless you got money to get the big machines to clear it out, to start planting stuff. Like you, it's month by month you doing stuff. You just putting all that money in there. But start small. Really
Yeah.
start small, and then just go little by little. Kidogo kidogo. Small, like little by little. Just that's what it is here. People. Um, that's so funny because people really do be coming here like, man, I'm gonna get 100 and 200 acres and stuff, and
And you
yeah,
be like, why?
just gotta be humble, man. You really gotta be humble. Um, I rather be connected with the local people, like the people that drive the bikes first, then move up to, the people that actually, own houses and stuff like that, and big houses, big farms and stuff like that, because because you got to think that I know in Tanzania, this is what I learned when Magufuli was president. He it there was a lot of Chinese people there, right? And I want to say 10 years ago, um, Chinese people they were on the streets selling vegetables, selling whatever little things that they could get. They would just sell just like local mom and dads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just selling stuff, small stuff. But now they're actually building bridges and building buildings and stuff. So you really got to start small, and that's what the Chinese did, and that's in Tanzania. We're not in Tanzania now, but that's what the locals say. They say yeah, they started like 10 years ago. They was on the street selling the tomatoes and stuff,
Dang.
but now they're actually building bridges for us. And I'm like, wow, that should tell you something right there.
And it's interesting how those laws, even though depending on who the Chinese person is, but you can see how the laws of the Bible, even if somebody doesn't know they're following them, still, if they follow them, they still reap the rewards of following the laws. Because we were just talking about Proverbs, how if you're diligent with little, you can increase, and how, the wealth of the wicked is stored for the righteous. And so if you're putting a little bit and you're not being greedy, you're not going to just waste everything. But if you're taking the little you have, you're going to be rewarded with much more. And that spirit of diligence and excellence is going to shine through. So, yeah, that's like interesting. That's an interesting story just to see that law activated in real time. I think a lot of Americans also come over here, Black Americans, Black diaspora, come over and they're like, oh my gosh, we need to gather up like the Chinese, we need to gather up like the Jewish, we need to gather up like this, we need to gather up like that. But it's like, y'all, a lot of people just got here within just a few years. You won't find a whole lot of people that have been here 10 years. And so you're doing all this gathering, you don't even know the language. You don't even know left from right in the country. You don't even know which direction to go in. And so you're on this trajectory, still with this capitalist consumerist mindset from America. Like, we got built the biggest institutions, the biggest community gatherings, the biggest. And it's like, take it down a notch and stop looking to the other cultures and nations and saying, oh, we're not doing it like them. Stop. You're not them. Stop. You just arrived. Just breathe for a minute, breathe for at least 3 to 4 or 5 years, and then decide what you want to do. And if you're going to be unifying with different groups, especially because you just don't know who's who. Because let's be real, we in World War III, y'all. This ain't the time to just be willy nilly, not knowing what's going on. That's the reality. Yeah, that's the reality. And like you were saying, if you deal with locals, you're going to have much better, I don't want to say luck, you're going to have much better blessings just from that spirit of humility versus if you're going to the top people, not realizing the top folks in most governments have some kind of corruption, some kind of systematic thing going on that you don't know exists. You should know it exists because it's all over the world, these top leaders, but I don't know why we come here and we don't use that wisdom and understanding to where we need to be around the meek and the humble because they can teach us a lot. The meek and the humble can show you how to survive on very little. They can teach you the language, they can teach you the culture, and you can just have a peaceful, happy life where you don't have to own, 3,000 buildings. You don't have to be the next Lowe's store owner. You don't have to be the next Black Rock. You don't have to be any of that. You should just be you, how the Most High created you.
What happened in Black Rock in Kenya?
Yeah, Black Rock, the Black Rock is the institution that controls all of the banks. Okay. So they control a lot of businesses, they control a lot of banks, they have their hands all over the world silently, and they just exited Kenya silently. They were like, we're not dealing with Kenya anymore. In the article, they cited the fact that they couldn't get a return on their investment in Kenya. So there's that piece of news that's
Yeah.
they
That's,
exited
yeah.
Kenya.
Yeah, guys, I'm telling you, man, a lot of stuff is shifting right in front of us. It's shifting. We really got to understand what's really about to happen and what's going on next.
Yeah, for sure. Because, yeah, the meek shall inherit the earth. That's what the word says. Try to become as meek as possible. And being in America, you already have to fight just to become meek. If you think you're meek, don't think you're meek. You still got some more meekness to go. This goes for us as well. Because when you come to Africa and you see how people move, you're like, wow, the people here are so meek. They're so like modest and quiet and just chill. Americans, man, oh man, that Western culture is something else. It's like poison. Someone told me that some African Americans are being mistreated in Africa, but I'm guessing that because some of us don't leave Babylon behavior once we leave Babylon. Yeah, I think people get mistreated all over the world. Africa is not heaven. I don't know who thought Africa was heaven, but Africa is still on planet Earth, and so you will have petty crime, petty theft. But you just take the precautions like we've been saying in these videos. Another precaution we do whenever we have our electronics, we don't put them by windows. Like when we go to sleep at night, you will not find my laptop right here by the window. That's just a safety precaution. You just don't do stuff like that. You have to think with wisdom and move with wisdom, or get some information from somebody who has wisdom if you don't have it. Because a lot of times you have these petty threat thefts and you have these cell phones getting got. Like, if you're the first time I went to New York City, I was working in a mental hospital and I was on night shift, and some people who had already been there, I was all excited to go to Harlem and all this stuff. And they were like, look, don't be that excited when you go. Be calm. Do not have your phone out. Keep your purse like diagonal. Do not just have it in your hand. Follow the pace when you're walking down the street, because they walk fast and they're just like teaching me, like, don't look. Don't be looking like you a tourist in New York City. You're gonna get got. It's the same thing when you're going to any big city in Africa because these are mega cities. Dar es Salaam, mega city. Johannesburg, South Africa, mega city. Lusaka, Zambia. Kinshasa, Lagos, Nigeria, Abuja, Accra, Ghana. These are not like your small cities, regular cities. They're bigger than Los Angeles because Africa is densely populated. So it's much larger. And so you can only imagine, and it's much busier too, even than New York in some cases, especially Kenya, Nairobi, and Mombasa. And so you have to have wisdom. Like, put your look, carry a backpack, put, the little cross, your little cross purse, keep your phone in your pocket. Don't just sit out on the street on your phone. And then you're like, oh, why did somebody just snatch it? It's like, y'all, if you wouldn't do that in New York City, don't do that in any country that you travel to in the world. If you in your house in America would not put your laptop by the window, do not put your laptop by the window on any other country. What else as far as safety?
I don't know. You just gotta have the same mentality um, in America. We from America. I still it's still that I'm still looking behind my back and stuff. But it's not that here. But I'll say that just the mindset of that. You still gotta have that. You just still gotta protect yourself. You still gotta look out for yourself. You still gotta protect your items, your investments and stuff. So it's like that. But you don't have to make it known. Um, I'm pretty sure everybody from America is that trauma that they put us through. So you still gotta have that common sense, I guess. Just have common sense, please.
Yeah,
Just have common sense.
yeah, for sure. And then don't go to many places alone if you're a woman. You know, if you're a woman, have another woman with you, or a man, a brother, somebody, have somebody with you. Don't just be because you are if you don't know how to blend in with the society. See, we spent, so you went to high school in an Ashkenazi Jewish community. I grew up in an Ashkenazi Jewish community. So I'm used to trying to blend in with different cultures and different people automatically. But if you haven't experienced that before, where you have to try to kind of blend in and watch how people move and kind of wear what they wear and have the same kind of steps they have so that you can blend in, then you're going to stick out and people are automatically going to be like, oh, hello there. And so that just, it's not a bad thing all the time, but just be self-aware of how you come across. If you are going through that tourist phase, save that for the resort for a week or two. Save it for the resort. And then once you're ready to become more accustomed to the culture, then do that.
Yeah, guys. If you guys have any questions, let us know. I'm gonna go to the chat now. Let's see. Where was the last
Sleeping.
thing you said?
All right, did that one.
Okay. Let's
I'm
see.
not leaving America. It's my home. Okay.
Yeah, if you feel America is your home, we're not gonna go over to America and come get you. So
We're not gonna go to America.
that's just what it is. Hey,
Oh gosh.
you just be safe. Protect yourself.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Use wisdom. I suggest chilling the first year or two to detox. It gives you the opportunity to learn the land and culture. Yeah, for sure. It makes life more peaceful too, where you don't have to worry about too much if you just take that route. Carl said that's being greedy, talking about what we were discussing earlier,
Mhm.
having 900,000 acres of land and all these apartments. It's just not necessary.
Mm,
Capitalism in Africa too, fewer have access. Right, sure. Usually it's reserved for like the elites of each country, but the majority of people, probably 90% of the population, don't have access and don't even care to have access because they're just living off their home garden or their cows or chickens or whatever it is they do. Like here in this country, they do a lot of sugar cane farming. Sorry, I couldn't live in no Africa the way those Chinese run over those Africans. That's pathetic when you don't run anything in your own country. Plus, I don't even consider myself an African. Well, you will be sad to hear that the Chinese run America.
Yeah,
Just
they.
look at some of the bills. Y'all gotta do some digger, good gosh, some deeper research. Oh, look up.
Yeah, instructions is very powerful. It's there for a reason.
They lead you further south. Who leads you further south?
Mm, I think he like talking to himself. I don't know.
Wisdom is instruction. Yeah, guys, leave your questions in the chat. Leave your questions in the chat. My ex just lost her passport, the child's passport in Botswana, on a bus because she had her purse open on a bus being distracted. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. That can be annoying having to get passports. I'm glad I'm 6'8". Dang, 6'8". I have a cousin who's like 6'8". Oh, people don't try. Yeah, if you're 6'8", I'm sure they're not trying you.
Mm.
Ahava, y'all. I'm proud of the work y'all do. Thanks, fam. Thank you. The family channel is a blessing. Yeah, there's not a lot of family channels out there, unfortunately. Family channels are really important though because this is a whole nother topic. There is a war on the black family. So whenever, that's something we're very passionate about, as you can tell. Black marriage, black family, organic, having children, just being humans like we were created to be from the foundations of the world.
Mhm.
Shalom fam, please check your email. It's about Jessica who left. This is very important. These Chinese men playing, they see me and all those African women. They are very. My kids are leaving America next week. I have to stay to make some money before the dollar collapses. Well, that's good. Congrats for sending them out.
Mm.
They're gonna live their best life abroad. Because we were just talking to somebody who had did the last day of the diaspora, and he said he had sent his daughter has been out for a while now, and she was sending her dad pictures, not in Africa, in a different country or in a different continent. But it's like, man, the young people that are leaving, it's going to be a good new beginning for them to see something other than Western society. It's going
Yeah.
to be a good new humble beginning for them to see a slower lifestyle, explore and get, because traveling just opens up your mind so much and gives you so much faith. There's a certain level of faith you get when you travel that just can't be found when you're just stagnant in one destination. And that's
Mm.
something that is just evident when you see that Abraham is called the father of faith. And if you really look at his life, you have to ask why. Why is he called that? Why did the Most High say, "This is my friend"? Because he would walk in these new destinations and he would be fearless because he had already got the call to go. He wasn't doubting, like, well, maybe this is the Most High. The Most High clearly said in the dream, he heard his voice and he didn't take it upon himself to be like, well, maybe I'm tripping. Letting doubt get in the way. Get rid of doubt. Doubt doesn't have any way to serve you. But America wants you to be doubtful so you can stay and, have more taxes and then just continue to fool around with them and to keep paying their taxes, keep doing the 9 to 5, keep having all the capitalism. When you're outside of America, you're actually going to end up with less taxes. Okay, you're gonna owe the IRS less, especially if you own a house, because houses in America, we own property in America, and you got those property taxes, child. You thought you owned that house until the minute you stop paying those property taxes, they're gonna come back and say, "Oh, this house is mine now."
Yeah.
They sent their children and said They had to stay to make more money. Send them out. You had the dreams. Why are you encouraging them to rely on Caesar? This is whiteness. I
Uh,
don't understand.
yeah.
I think you don't understand the comment from the person. The person sent their child out to avoid the draft.
They said they're sending their child or something like
Reading comprehension is fundamental, fam.
that. But yeah.
But yeah, y'all, that is all we have. Unless y'all have any more questions. But yeah, y'all, it is wise, if your children are 18 to 26, buy them their flights. Go ahead and send them, wherever you'd like for them to go. If it's Costa Rica, Bahamas, South America, West Africa, East Africa, South Africa. Some people are sending their children to certain areas in Asia, wherever you think is important, go ahead and do that so you can avoid that whole, because this military draft stuff, this stuff is crazy. This stuff is wild. And there's even veterans coming on some of the channels
It's
and
not even.
saying,
I'll say it's not wild.
yeah, there's veterans coming on some of the channels that are talking about the draft and saying, man, like I regret going to the Vietnam War. They're saying, yeah, we're not sending our kid. These are veterans saying this. People that actually already did the fight in the military. Okay? And they're coming and they're saying, I will not be sending my children out for this country anymore.
Mm.
These are white Americans saying this. I'm not doing it anymore. Because even from their perspective, America isn't what they thought it was choked up to be. It's just not. When you got the super high inflation, the debt, the inorganic food, the LGBT, the satanic temples, and then and you can only imagine what people have to go through when they put themselves in the army to wage war against someone who may be innocent.
Mm.
Right? If you have to do certain destructions like that to people, that's going to wreak havoc on your soul. It wreaks havoc on your mental stability. And then you have all of these veterans who end up homeless or they're in these different mental health centers because America has basically pimped them out to go and be on the front lines to fight wars because war is the biggest business on earth. And the veterans, they're now coming back. Some of them were in the videos crying. They're like, you know what? I regret doing that. I wasted my life. Please don't send your children out. And it's something when the people who actually went and did that and were so patriotic about it are coming back to say, I regret that. Please don't send your children into that. That's different.
Yeah, that's something different.
That's you should listen. Y'all, if y'all don't know about what I'm talking about, go on TikTok. Do a little research to see what these veterans are saying. Veterans, a lot of them are not homeless because they're just, it's not for no reason. All of this is by design. When you go fight somebody's war and see all the craziness that America teaches these people when they're going into these countries, there's no way you can come back with a stable mind, except the Most High restores their mind and renews their mind, because war is no joke. It's literally no joke. And so you really have to think one of the only solutions would be either to allow your child to have that felony, and that is what it is, or they leave early. Because like you were saying earlier, America plans stuff in advance. And so, I think they can still go ahead and get their digital nomad visa elsewhere, at
Yeah.
least.
Uh, I would say, man, guys, y'all gotta know this is the reality. Like today, it's the reality, and don't forget about what they're doing because I know it's so much that people got to handle and live every day and stuff, but and they it just goes over their heads. So this is something they put out, and probably next week is gonna be done talking about. Like people are gonna be done talking about it. So don't get this out your head because it's gonna be like that. They planned this. Probably next year is really gonna take effect, but I say you probably got till next year to really try to get out. Make sure you get your passports.
I would hope the
Um,
next 2 years, but
you
yeah,
know,
at this rate, you don't really know.
you can invest in cruise ships or something. I don't know. They be traveling the world now. So I don't know. Just don't stay there because it's getting real. It's getting real. So
Mm.
Just have that solid foundation in the Most High. Make sure you are solid with that. That's the most important thing. Make sure you
Yeah,
take care of yourself. Make sure you eat healthy. Make sure you seek peace because it's gonna get crazier and crazier each day. Each
yeah,
day it's gonna just get and it's gonna it has to happen. That's just what it is. It has to happen, and that's the reality of it.
yeah.
It's just gonna get worse.
And be a prayer warrior. Yeah, like that. That's super important. I know before we
Oh, that's
left.
yeah. We saw somebody. He said you can't pray like a pastor no more.
Yeah,
You gotta pray like a prophet.
yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah,
You can't pray like a pastor no more. You gotta pray like a prophet. So you gotta it's war on a spiritual level way before a physical level.
yeah,
And now we see it's a physical level right in our face. It's our reality in our face physically. We see the tanks and stuff. People see the videos of tanks and containers being shipped and warships on the coastline and stuff. That's the reality of it.
yeah.
So it's here in the physical. So it's going to be even more of a war in the spiritual. So make sure you just fast and pray like a prophet.
Yeah, seriously, because you have the power to pull down strongholds, Ephesians 6, principalities that are all the way up in the heavenlies that you can't even see. Before we left, we tell this story sometimes. I don't know if y'all have heard it yet, but before we left, we would be speaking scriptures daily, okay, meditating to say, Most High, please take us to our destination in Tanzania. Please have everything set for us from the foundations of the world. Please make the crooked path straight. Please allow everything to go smoothly. Please allow this to be fruitful in this area. And so we would literally speak to the situation, to the things around us so that we could get to the destination. Not only did we did that moving to Tanzania, if y'all listen to the last testimonial did on the video section, you could actually see the praise report that we had because we did the same thing in moving into this house. Anytime we move, anything you do, you have to pull down the strongholds and then profess by your word what you want to happen. Because look at the Most High Yah. In Genesis 1, the first thing he did, he speaks and things happen. He speaks and light comes. Light separates itself from darkness. And so that's a heavy part of this whole move. It's a very, very spiritual move. It's spiritual number one. And then as you're learning from the Most High and as He's taking you deeper into His Word, you're going to see what He has for you in the realm of wealth. You're going to see what He has for you in the realm of marriage, your family, your local community, the network, the culture, whatever it is He has for you to profess in front of the different people that you meet. And it is going to be the most rewarding journey that you could ever go on. And if you're doubting that right now, just check out Abraham's story. Just check it out
Yep.
because you have the power under Yahusha to speak. And if it's according to his will and according to his plans, it happens. And that's how you know you are of him because he does not let you go and he doesn't let your enemies have power over you. King David said that. So get in the book of Psalms, get in John 14, 15, 16, and 17. Get to where you have that spiritual authority because it's time for it.
Yeah, it's time for it, and it's for you. Like really,
Yeah.
it's we are out of the change. There's no more change. Like really, but you really gotta want it. You really gotta act on your faith. You gotta put that work with the faith. Like really, you can't just have faith. You really can't. You gotta act on it, and that's what we just try to tell people because we've been doing this for pretty much our life, but it really start activated when we start to wake up to stuff and realize, hey man, like man, look, the Most High is real. Like,
Yeah.
do you believe in
Yeah.
the Most High or not? It's very simple. It's very simple. Are you gonna choose light or are you gonna choose darkness? It's very simple.
Ooh, and the pressure's getting down to where it's literally on a spiritual level with America and this new military stuff is literally like, man, you have the choice again to choose. Now, a lot of our ancestors, a lot of our forefathers in America, they chose the war and they didn't know any other way, right? They're just, kind of like it wasn't that awakening time. But now that it is the awakening time, and now that we can see these shifts in the world, we have the ability to change the trajectory. We have the ability to change everything for our legacy and our lineage after us. And as you go into different areas, the Most High increases you. Y'all know we came with 3 children to Africa. Now we have 5 children. Okay, like he really increases you according to Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14. Our people, we get so caught up in all these curses and doubt. But Yahusha's like, I died and resurrected, and I did that for you. So you could come back to me in faith and obedience, so that I could then use my strength and my power to bless you. Because he takes pleasure in the prosperity of his servants. And so this is the mindset that you have to have coming into these other places and dealing with people that you see. You have to walk by faith and not by sight. Even looking at Exodus and Numbers, when they're walking in the wilderness and going into the promised land and they're pulling down these giants, but most of the older generation's like, no, we can't take the giants. No, the giants are too big. They passing out about the giants. And Caleb and Joshua, they're like, no, I think we can take them. I know the Most High is with us. We can take them. Okay? That's what it is. And so we have our word to show us. We have, testimonies, right? Because we overcome the devil by the power of our testimonies and the word, the commands of Yah. And so when you combine both of those, the testimonies you may see on YouTube, or if you know anybody in your family that lives abroad, all of these different testimonies, all of the testimonies in the Bible, all of this combined so that you then have the power to activate that in your own life and live your best life, because that's what the Most High said he died for through Yahusha, so that you would have life and have it more abundantly.
Exactly. From the beginning of time, like really, man, where we sitting? We supposed to be sitting. That's what it is.
Yeah, y'all, we've been on here for over an hour. West Africa is easy for immigration. Absolutely. I love this comment because that is something that we be thinking about sometimes, like, dang, West Africa is, it's a fact. West Africa is easier for immigration because they have some better policies for the diaspora. But that's just, it's a fact. Ghana, Senegal, Sierra Leone for sure. Even Nigeria, Benin now. But yeah, y'all, I think that's it for this video. Y'all know we'll be talking forever to you guys because we love this topic. This is what we are most passionate about. And yeah, till the next video, leave your comments and questions down below. Like the video, share, subscribe, and be blessed according to Psalm 67.
Mm-hmm. Seek peace. Seek peace.
Shalom, shalom, fam.